Amazing restaurant. I worked there for 2.5 years. Um, just to share real quick, I was in that restaurant serving people, filling their drinks, going to the kitchen, running back on my phone, trying to buy ads, right? Trying to do all that at once,
Yeah.
just to show people my grit. And like I stuck with it. And you really have to want it. You really gotta want it because if you don't want it, it's not gonna work out, right?
When it comes to success, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. The journey to the top is filled with roadblocks, bumps, and U-turns. And what better way to fast-track this venture than by learning from the best? Welcome to Breaking It Down with Yogin Patel.
What's going on, guys? We got Danny Gabriel on the show today. For those listening, Danny Gabriel is a successful social media marketer that has worked with some of the largest brands and artists, including Fashion Nova, Lil Pump, Gunna, just to name a few. He uses the power of a large collective network of Instagram accounts to grow brands with reach going beyond over 1 billion people. Daniel, thanks for being on, brother. What's going on?
Thank you for having me, brother. Hey man, life is good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. It is crazy how I started digital marketing a few years ago and my life has changed for the better. Um,
Yeah. No, I know. It's crazy because I think, I connected with you maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I
mhm.
realized you were right up the alley of Instagram marketing and you were familiar with pretty much all the concepts. And so, yeah, let's kind of talk about, going back to like high school, your upbringing, like,
Mhm.
what was that like? Because I know, Instagram marketing or even just social media marketing, let's call it that, wasn't maybe something that you'd had discussed initially. So where was that kind of influence from?
Sure, yeah, sure. So, I think similar to you, Yogin, I was, raised in a secure household where I wanted a secure occupation. I was pushed, insisted by my parents to do the medical field. Something that I wasn't really interested in. And as a young kid, it's a little hard to find something that you like and you're able to push forward and stick with that. Um, at 20 years old, I met my good friend Matthew Bolis. He created a marketing agency called Bolis Media, and at the time it was very very unique because it was a different form of marketing. It wasn't traditional like billboards and newspaper, right? We found a way to run marketing through theme pages on Instagram, which all have their own high quality, unique audiences. When I got into that and started, learning about that, it really created a desire to learn more.
Hmm. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, let's go a little bit even deeper back into your initial like childhood. So
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar. So have you always been in the States? Did your family like immigrate, or did you always just grow up here?
Yeah, sure. I'll touch on that for sure. So I'm a first generation American. Both my parents born in Iraq, both moved here when they were, 7, 8, 9 years old, very, very young. My mom speaks perfect English, no accent. She raised me well. She's from Detroit, Michigan. So I was born in Chicago, lived there a little bit, but lived most of my life in Arizona, same state as you.
Yeah.
And I went to elementary school with you too,
Yeah,
and yeah,
that's
and
crazy.
and yeah, man, it's awesome how long we've known each other. So with that, having immigrant parents, it even pushes on that subject a little more of, hey, become a doctor, like do something different for the
Yep.
family. Like the first one to graduate high school, Yogin, the first one to go to college. Like it's a lot of pressure, right, for most kids like us. And when I went to high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I had no idea, and when I went to college, that's sort of where everything kicked in, like, "Man, this college stuff is not for me. I do not enjoy learning these classes that you can go learn online for free,"
Yeah.
these institutions take advantage of us. I wanted to become, self-made. I wanted to work for myself. I was done working for other people, building their companies, right? So we put together a collective group of friends. None of us knew anything. We all started from scratch, and we stuck it through the trenches, man. We kept building an empire of theme pages, and it worked out. I guess where my influence comes from is my older cousins. They're very, um, I don't want to say stubborn, but they like to do things their own way. And when I seen that, I want to be the same thing. I want to do something for myself. I want to create for myself, for those around me. And it was a great opportunity once I learned about theme pages, especially as I learned more about marketing in general.
Hmm. That's really interesting that, you had a similar kind of upbringing,
Hmm.
just going to the route of med school and, where did that like change? So you mentioned Matthew Bolis,
Yes.
you know, how was that initial interaction like? I mean, did you just see that he was up to something and you wanted to be a part of the journey that he was on?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, to be honest. He was on the phone with the owner of Hood Clips at the time, one of the biggest Instagram theme pages currently. And he was talking about how he was trying to assemble a team to run some marketing for them on their pages. Because at the time, Hood Clips owned another clothing brand similar to Fashion Nova. It's called a Honey Bum.
Mm,
And nowhere near as big and nowhere near as much reach as Fashion Nova, but with a million followers at the time, it was still impressive to me to see that. Um, and I saw an opportunity, and I was prepared to take it. I wanted it, and we ended up running a few brands that year. We didn't really make much money, but it's not always about money sometimes, right? Sometimes it's
yeah.
about gaining knowledge and expertise so you can move forward and get the reach real success. But I hopped in on that. We ended up building the company together, just two of us, for around I want to say a year, until we ended up taking another one of our buddies on with us, and we're able to scale up a bunch of campaigns. It was a blessing. Everything had paid off within 12, 13 months for once, and the sky's the limit. We kept on going. We ended up running campaigns for Future, for Gunna, for Lil Pump, as well as other music artists. Not all of them spend a lot of money, but just the ability to do that, it's really eye opening, and it creates a lot of confidence for you in what you're doing.
Yeah. So would you say you started in the industry at age 18,
No, 20 years old,
20 years
and I'm
old?
24 right now. Yes.
Okay. So pretty recently. Um,
Hmm.
what was that first like major win that you saw? And can you kind of go deeper into it? Like, the brand that maybe
Yeah.
approached you, what was the challenge
Hmm.
like and all that?
Sure. So just to touch back a little bit, at that age, I was full time at ASU. Living like a normal student, trying to figure out a way to pay for my food, for my rent. I was working at a restaurant serving food as well, and I didn't want to reach a point of burnout. I said I had to slow down on one thing, so I chose school. Surprisingly, I chose school. I slowed down a little bit on that. I put a lot of my effort and time into growing that marketing agency. Um, the first win was about 7, 8 months in. And honestly, those 7, 8 months, we're talking about thousands of hours, Yogin. People like to put in an hour or two a day on a side hustle. I was fully invested, and I believed in it. And Pretty Little Thing came to us with like a $30,000 campaign, which we've never ran before, that kind of budget at the time. So I was like, I had a little moment of relief right there. It was like, you know what? If I can make this work, if I can prove that this can work, we can get other brands one day. We can secure this client, get the same client to run again in the near future, right? So whenever they ran with us, they did a giveaway. So obviously their campaign was focused towards growth.
Hmm.
We grew them 100,000 followers with that budget, and they were ecstatic about it.
Wow.
So when they were ecstatic about it, I realized what I had done. I didn't realize, 100,000 followers, they already have a few million. What's 100,000 to them? But they loved it, I was happy, and it pushed me to keep going, honestly.
And how did Pretty Little Things come to hear about you guys?
So, I have a buddy of mine, his name is Johnny Rapp. He actually has his own marketing agency as well. So he actually outsourced the work to us, but he is in good contact with Umar Kamani, the owner of Pretty Little Thing,
Yeah.
and like the team and everything like that. So when they went to him, he was like, you know what? We're not going to run on these platforms. We're going to take it to Instagram. We're going to go run on theme pages. That's where we're going to go run this campaign. He told me what he wanted to do. He gave me all the content. And man, you know a lot about influencer marketing. They had awesome influencers on their content, like Tiana Taylor and,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, right? So the second I ran it on Instagram, the audiences on these pages were very receptive. They were growing well. And they saw Fashion Nova, because Fashion Nova was built on influencer marketing. So they see other big brands doing it, they're going to copy what works, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, is like, you know what? I can help Pretty Little Thing grow. I can help Fashion Nova grow. I can help whoever I want grow. And that's when I got my confidence and I started really feeling good about it.
Okay. And so your first major like client was Pretty Little Things.
Hmm.
You know, when you first started with Matthew, you
Mhm.
probably didn't have any major skill sets to bring. What did Matthew push you towards in the beginning, and how did you build your skill sets to where you are currently?
Yeah, it's a good question. I did not have the skill sets at the beginning to do great things. I had a great work ethic, Yogin, and I was very persistent in learning. The biggest thing is if you want to learn a new skill, you have to put in the time. You got to get it done, and obviously that comes with the bad of it, right?
Right.
So I was getting scammed buying promotions. I was getting, my ads archived by, page owners, man, like big problems that I did not know how to deal with. But the cool thing about going through this is you end up knowing how to deal with it in the future. So, um, just real quick too, that was my first win, Pretty Little Thing. It's not like I was making money or anything like that to propel my life forward. It was just I was learning the skill sets. But while I started with Matthew, I didn't have time to read books, right? I didn't have time to go read marketing books
Right.
and all that kind of stuff at the time. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't. So I had to just push out the work and then, fall back, regroup, and then actually learn what I had to learn to be great in my field.
So that's
Yeah.
interesting because, a lot of people will buy a course or,
Hmm.
read a book or follow some major, YouTuber that talks about digital marketing or whatever.
Yeah.
You just kind of went straight into the field and you were like, experience is the best teacher.
Hmm. And honestly, I'm a firm believer of that. And I'll tell you something, maybe people don't wanna hear it. People who sell courses, they make most of their money selling those
Courses.
courses,
Yeah.
and power to them, make your money, it's all good, but that should tell you one thing about it, like, they're not gonna teach you everything they know, they will never do that, so you need to go in there yourself and learn everything yourself, so you can get that secret information that you can teach the people around you, and you can help their growth too, help catalyze their success as well. That was a big thing with me, Yogan. I had to learn everything myself, and when I talked to other people, it helped me understand it better. Theme page marketing helped me understand it, grasp it, absorb it. And I think even till today, I'll be teaching my little brother about things or my cousins about it. And my cousin has a music page, my brother has his own meme page, and
Wow.
it just goes to show how me doing that is affecting the trajectory of their life as well. So that's why I continue to be like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember seeing you back at ASU. I think
Hmm.
I don't know if it was what year it was, but we met up at a coffee shop. I think it was Cartel
Yep.
Coffee.
Cartel,
Yeah,
yes,
and man, I mean, we hadn't seen each other probably like 3 to 4 years since middle school.
easily.
And I just saw your work ethic and I was so impressed. I was like, wow, like look at this guy. Like, there was no break at all. Like we were there and like you were just go, go, go. You had calls lined up, and so where do you think that fire really came from? I know you touched on, your older cousins and siblings and everyone, but like,
Yeah.
where did that really come from, you think?
Yeah, I'll touch on that. I think seeing my mom struggle, being a single mom, like taking care of three kids, including me. I was the oldest, but she was taking care of me too at 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And it really hit me in the heart to see that she'd be working all day and it wasn't enough. And she was very, very smart, but she got stuck in a job where she's working, 40K a year, taking care of three kids, man. I could not stand seeing that, Yogan. I would do whatever I had to do to change that. And it's it's not only about money, but, money does make our lives easier, and I had to chase money, unfortunately, but, it worked out. I did not I know my roots. I stick to my roots. I know where I came from, you know? I have my values, and I kept all that intact while chasing the bread, and that's just the honest truth about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't I could say it was for me, and that is true. I mean, I wanted to change my life as well, but it was mostly for my mom, man. Like, seeing someone struggle, working their whole life, it's really tough. It takes a hit on you, man.
Yeah.
So that's my story on that, yeah.
Dude, that's crazy, man. I mean, I mean, I've definitely gone through struggles, but I think whenever you see your parents go through it, I think it just hits home
Mhm,
so much harder. Um, what would you say when you're working on like a campaign, right? With a
yeah.
brand, what is the steps that you guys take to ensure success and kind of dive into like actually, you know, So for example, Pretty Little Things, growing them from, whatever millions of followers to another 100,000 in incremental followers. What
Mhm.
did you guys have to do? How many maybe theme pages did you guys bring on? What
Yeah.
was the creative like?
Sure. So the biggest thing was they gave me an abundance amount of creatives. So I probably had like 20, 30 creatives to work with, feed posts and stories, mix and match this. So it got a little messy. But the biggest thing was split testing. And by that, I mean, you have one piece of content, you have a creative, and you're going to run that same creative on these three pages, different niches. So this can be a girly page. This one could be a male page. This could be a sports page, whatever the niche is. And you're going to split test that content. You're going to see where did it do the best? Which one got the most impressions? How many eyeballs, saw that post? How many people were sharing this post? How many people were saving this post? When you get those insights and analytics from these theme page owners, you're going to see, wow, this one was clearly the better creative. I'm not running this one on this type of page again. I'm not going to dead the creative, but I'm going to run it on a different page. There's a lot of split testing. It was basically just ensuring that the results they were seeing, were good. They were good numbers. Um, and with theme pages in general, you're paying a rate, a flat rate. It's like an advertisement you're paying for. You could pay $100 for the ad, and if it gets 10,000 impressions, that's a high CPM. Most clients don't want to see that. So I also had to do my due diligence because I was still learning at the time. I had to figure out what pages were really high quality, and it gets deep. You ask them for their audience demographics. You could see, where the audience is from. Some people have majority audiences from the United States. Some of them from Canada, Australia. A lot of them have Indian accounts. So you have to be very, very decisive and clear in the route you want to go when you buy on these theme pages. It's very, very important. So split testing and then knowing the audience, those are the really, really two important things.
Yeah, and why don't you maybe even clarify exactly the sort of marketing you're doing, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean, we touched on just overall theme page and using a network to
sure.
grow brands, but I think, a lot of people are not really too familiar with it because they're just familiar with Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO. So
Yeah.
let's talk about this. I know you're the expert on this, so let's dive in.
Yeah, sure thing. So with Instagram, or I should say Meta now, right? They just changed their name. So Meta, they have their own Facebook ads platform,
Yeah.
right? And those posts are the sponsored posts you see on Instagram, right? When you're scrolling through the feed, it says sponsored, or you're just scrolling through all your buddies' stories, and then after three or four of them, it's an ad. Those are all through the ad platform that Meta has. So theme page marketing is going to be done through the Instagram pages itself. So I'll name a few of them that people probably know of, right? Um, Hood clips, as previously mentioned, funny hood vids, like meme queen for all the girls out there. What's another one? Like at no cap. And there's a bunch of meme pages that our friends follow too. Some of them are like dank memes, normal memes,
Yeah.
family memes, right? And the niches go on and on. There's probably thousands and thousands of pages out there. People continue to create them today. We're gonna see something crazy in the next 5 to 10 years for sure. But with theme page marketing, what we do is we help catalyze the success of brands, services, apps through these theme pages with feed posts, story posts, various ways of promoting. There's caps, shout out for shout out. There's a lot of things you can do on theme pages. But to keep it simple, you are buying an ad placement from a page that someone owns. You're paying them an ad, and they have an audience that they're willing to promote your product or service to. Drop shipping, we do a lot of drop shipping companies. So
Yeah, it's very similar to paying just a regular influencer that has a face, right? And now you're just doing it with an account or meme theme page. Um, it's interesting because I've seen the explosion of theme pages, but I'm sure you have too. What has what has been the overall like industry effect been in the last 2 3 years as terms of reach?
oh man, it's changed, it's transitioned a lot, to be honest. Over the last few years, Instagram has done a few things to, change the algorithm. They've made it harder for theme pages to grow. They've made it harder for us to have the same reach we did back in the day during the chronological feed.
Hmm.
For anyone who doesn't know what that means, back in the day on Instagram, you could refresh and, someone you knew posted a second ago and someone you knew posted 30 seconds ago, it'd be chronologically in order. So if meme pages are posting a lot, Their audiences are seeing their posts quite frequently, right? And now there's an algorithm. The way the algorithm is now, it's not really chronological at all. So to be quite frank, theme pages, most of them are repost pages. They're not all having their own original content. Repost pages are considered low quality. Instagram does not like them. They want to limit their reach, limit their growth. We can't grow on private anymore. There's this feature where if you share a post from a private page, Yogin, you know what it says?
What?
It says this user is not found.
Interesting.
Before it would say, hey, this post is being shared from Hood Clips. Do you want to request to follow? And you could request to follow, and it generated a follow, and that's all off shares. So that's why shares are very important on Instagram. They're one of the most important metrics behind. Actually, it's the first most important metric: shares and saves that generates traction for the post. It's not likes and comments. What people think, the superficial metrics that everyone thinks.
You're so right. You're so right. Because
yeah,
what's interesting is I don't feel like people comment nearly as much as they used to. I mean, I feel like people are sharing posts. Like I'm sending, whenever I see a meme, I'm literally just sharing it to like 3 or 4 different friends that I just constantly share them to. And that's it, So that's a good point you bring up, that's an important metric to look at as opposed to likes and comments.
And the good thing is, if you have a creator or business account on Instagram and you want to create your own business, they offer these insights to you. It's like giving. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. You can track things down to the T, and you can see all that kind of information, and you can pivot off of that. If you see that your account is doing really well with shares, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. You got to stick with it, and you got to expand on that. Because just to touch back real quick, because people don't really understand, and that's okay, but I'll touch back on it. We can't grow because of that private glitch feature where we're not able to share. Which is why all theme pages are public right now. Many pages don't stay private, Yogin. We lose too many followers per post. If you post 3 times a day on a meme page, you're going to lose 100 followers for every meme you post. Think of it like that. And you want to be net positive. If you gain 200 off each post, well, you're net 300 for the day. Well, it's not like that anymore. Now it's you post, you lose 300 and you gain 50. You're down 250 for the day. So a lot of my pages, 1 million followers, 500K followers, they're slowly going down. I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not trying to hide anything. They're going down slowly. So until Instagram does another update or something where it benefits theme pages, I'm doing everything I can to stay afloat in this business. And it's not every page, by the way. Like Puberty is, 28 million followers. They have so much audience that can share their posts. There's just no way they're not going to grow. They hit explore. You go look at their posts. They're doing 1 million likes, 5 million likes on posts. Their reach is insane. They're expanding to other platforms, TikTok, Facebook. They're playing the long-term route, and they don't monetize their page with ads, which is another thing theme pages do, right? That's how I was able to buy ads for PrettyLittleThing and Honeybum and Fashion Nova, is because people sell ads on their pages, which does have a detriment to the page, the health of the page, the longevity of the page. Like anything, if you see an ad on the page, it's going to provoke people to unfollow. But the biggest thing is it's provoking the core audience to unfollow. That's the detriment.
That's really interesting because, Puberty, for example, you're saying they don't sell ads at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what is their play? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I actually was looking at their page a few weeks ago. By the way, Puberty is a cool page because they're a network that owns other big pages like Memezar, Girliezar, and then they have Puberty Pets, Puberty Sports. They've expanded into so many routes because they have so many followers. Their success was inevitable at this point. So the reason why I say they don't run ads is because if you go to Puberty on Instagram and you go to their bio and you look at their link tree, they're promoting their own dropshipping stores. They're running on their own. They don't need to sell ads because they're just running their own dropshipping stores. They probably do some white labeling, some private labeling, I'm sure. But that is awesome. They don't have to rely on anyone else. They're self-sustaining.
And that's something I talked to Pablo about, who's in a very similar space to you. A lot of these meme pages have shifted away from selling ads to just selling their own merch or service, right?
Yes.
So I know, so you were at age 20. What was it at age 21? Because I want to eventually get to where you are now, where I know you own a
Yeah.
few of your own pages and stuff.
Hmm.
But okay, let's go back to so age 20 and then 21. So what was kind of the shift there, and what was like the major accomplishments you would say?
Oh yeah, sure thing. So 21 is actually when I started making money. I was still very young, so I didn't know how to process it. To be honest, I was just looking at the money I made, just saved it up, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And then there was this big page called Scooby Doo Fruit Snacks, right? Funny name, but at the time was a few million followers, and I was like, I want an account like this. Why can't I have one? All these kids have their own, and they're all my age or younger. So why can't I have one for myself? There's nothing wrong with wanting more, right? So he had a backup account that was like 500,000 followers, and he sold it to me.
Oh
And
wow.
it was just a big change in my life. I didn't know how to run the accounts. I was so used to buying ads from them. I didn't know how to run it myself, how to post memes and where to source content and make sure that you're not putting too much time into it throughout your day because it does get time consuming if you get sucked into it, especially people who've grown them from zero and they have a real attachment, a real emotional attachment to their page. So I got that page. I told myself I would not have an emotional attachment to it. I would do what I can to monetize it. And I did that. And as I monetized it, I learned that I was hurting the page. So I had that attachment to it, like I was saying. And my mind changed, I was like, you know what? I do like marketing. It's awesome. But I also want to be on the recipient side of this where I'm selling ads to big brands so I can connect with them and learn from them on that side as well. So at 21 years old, I bought my first Instagram page. Um, I grew it. It was at the time it was easy to grow. You could just post like 5 memes a day and you'd grow like a few thousand followers. So seeing those numbers, Yogan, it's like an adrenaline rush, man. Like the same way people like to see likes and comments on their personal Instagram. I don't really care about that. But with a meme page, you're putting time and you're growing it by thousands of followers. That's an awesome feeling.
Yeah, so that's impressive, man. I mean, to have your own page, right? 500,000 followers.
Mhm.
And I think right now you're probably at maybe close to 900, right?
On Scooby, yeah, almost 900,000
Which
followers.
is
That is
really
the page.
impressive, you know? So
Yeah, I
like
changed
you've
the
really
handle
been
on it.
growing
Yep.
that.
Yeah, right now it's a little bit stagnant. I can't lie to you, but from 500K, I'm impressed with myself. I want to hit 1 million soon on that account specifically, right?
Yeah. Hell
That's
yeah.
seven figs right there, man. Yeah.
um, okay, so 21, you're making some money from the agency, and now you go ahead and make your first big business investment. You buy an Instagram page that is going to, bring in a nice little income. Um,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
then what else? So were you just basically into that mindset of buying more Instagram pages? Was the
Yes.
agency taking up a lot of time?
Mhm. Yeah. So at the time, right when I got Scooby, I'm just gonna fast forward to being 22 because 21 was all about just pushing work in and just putting work in and putting work in and just seeing what happens. There was no organization at all,
Yeah.
and I'm saying that because people need to hear that it's okay to not have a plan. Sometimes you just gotta stick with what you're doing already. If it's working, just keep going and hope for the best. Right? It happens and it's okay. It is okay.
Yeah.
All right. So everything worked out. I ended up buying my first Instagram page and my first investment. I was nervous. I couldn't lie, man. I was like, man, I'm so deep in this. Like, how am I gonna break even? Many people are like, you know what? I want to diversify. I want to do this and this and this. I wasn't like that. I wasn't like, I'm gonna buy any stocks. I'm not gonna buy crypto. No, I'm buying more Instagram theme pages. I'm sticking with what I know. And I ended up doing that. Some pages they pay off quite quick. You're like, oh, I broke even in 5, 6 months. It's like breaking even on a house in 5, 6 months. Like it's unheard of, right? Even though it's a different price tier, but same concept. And some pages take 2 years to pay off. So you really got to do your due diligence, figure out what pages you like, the niche you like, the audience you want, how you're gonna slowly merge that audience into what you want, right? How you want them to be. And I ended up buying a few pages in 2020, 2020 2020, exactly,
2020, yeah.
last year. I bought a lot of them last year. So my network has grown from, one page, 500,000 followers to I don't know, like 20 pages now, 20 pages,
Wow.
like almost 20 million followers. It's a blessing, man.
That's impressive,
Um,
my guy.
yeah. So one thing to touch on in the theme page community is very interesting. If you own an Instagram page, there's nothing stopping Instagram from disabling you. So I've had to deal with that the last few years. Like it's not all rainbow and sunshine, right? Everyone has to deal with some flack sometime throughout their career. You got to deal with something that's gonna make you struggle, push you down, so you can go up higher, right? And that was that for me. Instagram took down half my pages. This one was taken down for violating terms of service. This one, like someone in the community report botted because it's malicious. They're just malicious. Like, what can you do? They take down like puberty. People try to take down puberty because they're so successful. They hate on people's success. It is what it is. They do it. So it pushes me to keep moving forward, acquiring more pages. And I have all my eggs in one basket. And I do that. And then because I love Instagram so much, I love the theme pages so much. I love the community very much. Despite all the malicious stuff going on with the report botting and Instagram taking me down because they don't like repost pages. It's okay. The platform is moving forward. They're evolving. So all that means is we have to pivot and adapt and move forward with them. That's it.
That's really interesting, and I like your take on overall focus. It's a very common theme I'm seeing across a lot of successful guys I've been talking to. Is that
Yeah.
don't be too spread thin, right? Don't have like
Hmm.
3 to 4, 5, 6 different things you're working on all at the same time, because you can't go anywhere with it. And I like that you just double down on theme pages, and that's your
Hmm.
niche, right? Like, you didn't care about the next crypto coin coming out, and you just kind of went all in. So what has that been overall like? I mean, I know you mentioned theme pages being shut down. That has to be
Hmm.
the most stressful event, right? It's basically
Yeah.
your livelihood, right? I you know
Exactly.
what is that process like? And maybe can you even touch in on like the average amount of money you can make from these theme pages, and so people get
Yeah.
like an idea of like, okay, that's an entire source of income just gone.
Yeah, no, for sure it is, especially when you lose like half your network, you're stuck in a position that leaves you a little bit helpless because nothing's in your control.
Right.
But that means you need to move forward. Like you have no other choice, man. You have no other choice but to move forward. And what I can touch on with that is based on the livelihood matter. Some pages, 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, 2 million followers. Don't be surprised if somebody with that page is making, two, three, four, five, 6,000 a month, just depending on how quality their audience is, how great they are at monetizing their page, first of all, right? You can have the best page in the world, but if you don't monetize it, you're not making any money,
Right.
right? So yeah, it's a side income to start off, but eventually you see it surpassing your main job and you're done with your main job. This is your main job now. I'm investing my time into this, right?
Yeah.
I quit my serving job like the second I knew it was taking off, man. Like I went in there, I gave a 2-week notice. I thanked her for the opportunity and helped me get in that job. Um, I worked at an all organic, all natural restaurant in Desert Ridge, by the way, Tris Cafe.
Oh shit.
Amazing, amazing restaurant. I worked there for 2.5 years. Um, just to share real quick, I was in that restaurant serving people, filling their drinks, going to the kitchen, running back on my phone, trying to buy ads, right? Trying to do all that at once,
Yeah.
just to show people my grit. And like I stuck with it. And you really have to want it. You really gotta want it because if you don't want it, it's not gonna work out, right? So yeah, it's a real good income. So losing a page is like losing a few thousand a month in essence.
And talk to me about the consistency, right? Because
Mhm.
I come from an industry of e-commerce, and you know, when you're running paid ads, some months are great, some months aren't, right? Across a
Yes.
lot of industries, there's a lot of fluctuations. I assume that's very similar to just theme pages, and there's probably a lot of seasons. So, what is that like? Is it consistent? Is it stable for someone to like look at that as like an industry to go into and invest?
It is stable if you're doing a great job with outreach. And what I mean by that is, you know, one thing I learned with dropshipping, because I did that myself, if someone else is doing it, it probably works, right? If you see 30 people running this product, there's a reason why they're running it. They prove success with it. They see other people having success with it, excuse me. necessarily, I'm not gonna say I like to steal people's products or ideas, even though you can't really call it that because it's not like they patented it, right?
Yeah.
But if you see something working, you got to copy that in a way. You have to be able to take that and make it better. So what I mean by that is, if you see theme pages running ads, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to that company that they ran and inquiring, saying, "Hey, like I saw your promotion on this page, and I'm just wondering if you're buying more promotion. Here are my rates. Let me know what you think. Let's work." Right? And a lot of times they'll respond saying, "Oh, hey, like, yeah, I'm buying promotion. Like, let's run it up." Or, they'll negotiate a little bit or yada, yada. But for the most part, if you can find other pages running ads and you reach out on a consistent basis, you'll have a steady influx of ads. No problem. No problem at all, actually. The issue is when you're running ads that hurt your page.
Mhm.
So let me give examples of that because people have probably have seen them on Instagram. Weight loss products, right? People don't like seeing those ads. You know, anything smoking like vapes, and of course sexual products. Like especially lately, I've seen a lot of those on Instagram. Um, and models. OnlyFans has gotten really big since I want to say on Instagram specifically since the middle of 2019. Yogin, mid 2019, OnlyFans started buying promote OnlyFans models. I don't like calling them models, man. They're not really models. They're just people trying to make a living, right?
Yeah.
I understand. I'm trying to be understanding of it, right? So they buy promotion on Instagram and they're promoting their bodies on Instagram. It's just to keep it simple. Those ads have been really quite prevalent the last year and a half, and you see a lot of pages selling those ads. And let me tell you something, man. You post one of those ads, your 1 million follower page is losing 1,000, 2,000 followers easy off that one ad in 24 hours. In
Wow.
24 hours. So you need to be very, very diligent, and do your homework on that and figure out what ads work the best for your page. Because it is a steady income if you make it one. If you're not doing the outreach you need to do to bring ads to your page, of course you're only going to have a good quarter four, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three. You're going to be stuck just sitting around, waiting for ads to come to you, which you're going to get incoming DMs of ads. But the biggest thing I want to clarify, Yogan, is putting the control in your hands, and you're gonna be the one starting conversation and inquiring and reaching out.
Yeah, so I did want to touch on the OnlyFans side of things because I feel like that has been an interesting angle a lot of theme pages are using, you know.
Mhm.
And overall the growth of that platform across just everywhere. I mean, TikTok example, and Instagram. I know in our conversations in the past, you even mentioned that you guys have looked into managing a few models yourself because of your reach on Instagram.
Mhm.
Are you guys currently doing that? What's that process like?
Yeah, so, because I'm part of the Bolis Media team, I would say I'm a part of that because there's another agency they created to handle that. I'm not directly handling that just because, it's not my interest. I just
Right.
like the theme page side of things. However, I'll tell you that what they've been doing, just like any other model agency currently, is they'll inquire on, women's Instagram pages. They see that are public, they see there's no OnlyFans bio, like link in the bio. They'll see how they post, they'll get a feel for the feed, and they'll inquire and say, "Hey, have you considered starting an OnlyFans?" And you'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised how many women are open to it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's actually kind
it's
of
very
crazy.
crazy.
I've
And
personally talked to a few of my friends that are girls, and they all have
yeah,
thought about that at some point where
yeah,
they're just like, "Hey, I could just sell like I don't know,
I don't blame them.
yeah, feet pictures or something," you know, which is like
Yeah,
it's
imagine
it,
some feet pics.
it's
Yeah, the
crazy,
guys
man.
love that, man.
It's
Feet fetish.
really I think I've heard some of the numbers some of these girls are making, and
Yep.
it's interesting.
Hey,
And yeah, I mean, what's your entire take on all of that?
sure. I'll be quite open about it. Some of them make more money than me, and it's like, wow, like I want to do OnlyFans now. And imagine, but the thing is, I understand women are a little bit more susceptible than men in terms of seeing their friends do something, and they want to do the same thing. I
Right.
like it. I see it with my girlfriend, with my girl cousins. I'm gonna say it just like that, and it's okay. It's okay when you see your friend making 10K a month, running OnlyFans, and she's like, "Oh, I only posted pictures like this, or I only did this." Uh, You're not gonna sit and question it. You are. You're gonna be like, "You know what? Should I do it?" You know, do I want to make that kind of money? I want to do it for a month or two. I
Yeah.
want to make 20K. I want to do it for half a year, or
Right.
let me try it. I understand. And because it's blown up, just to keep it short, because it's blown up, why would anyone not want to make that kind of money, Yogin,
Right.
in today's age? People don't want to work for someone anymore. They don't want to sit in a cubicle. They don't want to sit in traffic. They don't want to hear someone yelling at them when they're doing a damn good job, or they think they are at least.
Yeah.
So I see how it's grown to the way it is. And honestly, I don't see it slowing down. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. Do you see that as still as some sort of money generator for your theme pages at some level, because these girls are making so much money, they need
Yes.
a form of advertisement. And
Mhm.
but I the other point you mentioned is that you have to be careful because you lose those followers. So have you figured out a successful route with that?
Yes. Everything in balance. So as a theme page owner, you're gonna post native content that your audience enjoys, right? And then you're gonna post ads, and you're gonna separate it throughout the day. You're gonna have some good spacing, ample spacing, right? So the feed looks clean, and you're gonna limit those ads. They hurt your page.
Mhm.
People don't want to see those ads, and I don't blame them. I don't want to be, let's say I'm a high school student or a college student. I'm in my class scrolling on Instagram, and the girl behind me sees me looking at some girl, like, or my mom's next to me at dinner or something. There's
Yeah.
something, a funny situation that will arise. It's true, and it's funny, man. I don't know. I guess it's still like new to me in a way, like just seeing all these ads on Instagram, especially OnlyFans. But to answer your question, I'm sorry. Um, there needs to be a balance. So if you run 4 OnlyFans ads a day, don't be surprised if you lose 3,000, 4,000 followers. And there's no direct consequence of that. And what I mean by that is you're not going to see your activity drop the next day.
Mhm.
However, you'll see the long term of your page just go down. The activity is not there. The core audience that was engaging with your memes, with your page, they're gone. You made them unfollow your page. So do you want to take that route? I've seen a lot of theme page owners not take that route, and their pages they're awesome, man. They're high activity. They only run clean, clean, clean ads. And when they do, they limit it. It's I don't s- I see some pages post an ad once a week. So I don't think they make $200 a week. That's not what I think, but I think that they've diversified themselves to where they don't rely on their theme page as a source of income. And that's one thing I wanted to touch on, because you don't have to monetize your page if you're going for the long term route. I'm doing that on one of my pages. I want to promote my own clothing brand on one of my pages one day. So there's no reason for me to run any ads, and I've run 0 ads on one of my pages in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
0 ads.
Wow.
Mhm.
What's your current role at Bolis Media look like?
So I'm helping build the second company, which is called Strive Media, which is the management company that runs all the theme pages. So because we have like 30 pages as a collective between, like I want to say 8, 9 of my friends, we all split some pages. Like some of us on 2 of these pages, or some of us on 5 of these pages, right? I manage that. I manage all the ads that we bring in. So that's why I was preaching so hard on it, on doing outreach and inquiring for ads, because I do the same thing. I go out of my way to monetize these pages. And the cool thing about owning multiple theme pages is if you close an ad, chances are you're closing it from multiple pages,
Mm.
right? So it's like double dipping in a way. So that's what's been working out for me lately. Because I lost a lot of pages, I have to be double dipping just to help me and my team out. But at Bolis Media, I was a director of marketing after I was done media buying. After we hired a bunch of our friends to work for us, and I started teaching them about theme page marketing. um, so after I was done media buying, I did the Pretty Little Thing, Honey Bum media buying. Um, my buddies were the ones doing like Kalani and like Party Next Door and other great artists and other great brands that I was like ecstatic about. I'm like, man, they get to do great brands just like I did. So they're gonna gain the same expertise. Plus, they have me to just dump a bunch of knowledge in them. So I think that's one big thing people need to understand too, is you need to find a mentor or a great role model to look up to that inspires you, that helps you keep level headed and keep moving forward. Because I didn't have that for myself. I'm not gonna lie. And when times get tough, so you need to have a little bit of comfort. Just to take it easy a little bit. Regroup, rejuvenate, whatever you got to do, and get back in it. And that's what I was doing nonstop. So when I had a team, I was like, you know what? This is paying off. I get to just dump my knowledge into them, and hopefully we can 10x what we've done with just me.
Mhm.
That was my process behind everything. Um, and a little off topic, but it's important because this is what helped me be where I am today. After 2 years of working at Bolis Media, I got burnt out. I'm talking like 60-hour weeks. I don't think I'm like Elon doing 120 hours a week. I don't, but 60, 70-hour weeks is what I was averaging. Um, I didn't have school or college. I didn't have college or my job anymore. I stopped that. I pushed college to the side. I said, you know what? I am putting my sole focus into my craft. I want to be the best at what I do. I want to gain this skill set, and it takes 10,000 hours to become a master. So I think I hit that 10,000-hour mark, and it's not really a mastery. It's just the beginning of mastery. So I touched that mark, and I got burnt out. I took like a 1 month break, which was well deserved and well needed. It helped me propel forward again, and that's when I came back and built Strive Media. So I built two companies in 3 years. We'll say 3 years. And I'm trying to build a third company right now. So we'll see how that goes.
I love that, man. That's dope because I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't really talk about that process where
Mhm.
you do get burnt out. I personally have been there, and
Yeah, man.
sometimes you have to pivot, right? You just have to change your kind of course. Um, let's go back into so when you're working at Bolis Media, you guys
Mhm.
have a collective network. You mentioned that you have 20 of your own pages, or are you partnered on those pages with other people in the agency?
Exactly. So
Got it.
as a collective, we have like 30 pages. I
Okay.
don't own all 30 pages, but I'm a part owner in 20 pages, for example.
Got it. And then you grew Strive Media. So are you pretty involved right now in the day to day of the agency, or are you
Mhm.
mostly just in the pages side of things?
Yeah, I'm mostly on the page side of things. I do see myself going back to Bolis Media and help expand the company when the time is right. I just we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So, and how you're talking about earlier, don't spread yourself thin. I don't even want to do two companies at once because I'm spreading myself thin. I don't have that. My focus is effective when I hone in on one thing, which is why I just stick with Strive Media. I'm scaling that up. That in itself, I see it sustaining itself soon. Once everything is automated, we can outsource a few things, right? But Bolus Media is important because Bolus Media buys ads from Strive Media, if that makes
Mm.
sense. We are buying ads from our own pages. That's the that's triple dipping. I don't even know what to call it at that
Yeah,
point.
what? Yeah, that's like okay. So Bolus Media has its client base,
Mhm.
and then you guys are basically tapping into your client base to get ads for Strive Media Instagram reach.
Yeah, I mean it's really quite simple. This quarter four, 2 months ago, a month ago, technically because ads stopped, a few days before Christmas, which makes sense. So let's just say November and December, which are the most effective times of quarter four in terms of buying and selling ads. We were at a point where we had dropshipping clients at Bolus Media. We had clothing brands at Bolus Media. We're running Cloudy, which is a very notorious brand on Instagram at the moment. Uh, I see Cloudy ads everywhere. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
Um, but all those clients that Bolus Media had, they were buying ads on behalf of those clients from pages that people in Bolus Media and Strive Media own. Like we're just buying from ourselves. Obviously, you're gonna buy from other pages too, but that was the important thing about these two companies linking together. Um, that was the importance of it, and it actually helped propel the success of Strive Media and Bolus Media together because that's just extra money that instead of going to another page owner or publisher, is the real term for it. It goes to Strive Media. It goes to our own pages, which we have our own audience. Why not monetize off that ourselves? Especially if you're trying to avoid those dirty ads, you gotta sell ads to drop shipping. People who do drop shipping, especially because they're buying. People are buying these products. They love it. There's sticky balls you throw on the roof for stress, and there's people selling like LED lights for your car, and like it's amazing what you see.
Yeah. No, I mean, very familiar with drop shippers, and I think it's crazy. Some people hit it big. Some people can barely ever make a profit in their existence of that career path.
Yeah,
And so,
it
uh,
is tough.
yeah, really tough. What has been some recent big successes? Talking about whether it's like an Instagram post that you ran for your page and it blew up and gained
Yeah,
this many amount of
yeah.
followers, or on the drop shipping side, just had a crazy client. Yeah.
Sure. I think most recently I had a big page that got disabled, unfortunately, like 2 weeks ago. It's like 2.5 million followers. It's my biggest one, so it's my favorite, obviously. Um, and the niche is crazy videos. So it's just like videos that make you say like, "What the hell? Like, what's going on in this video?" That's the niche, right? Um, but with Instagram, you can't post people getting hurt, just to add. So we had to pivot that as of recently. So the fact that the posts have been doing well is why I was happy about it. But we had a viral post at a million likes. And I was just telling you
Wow.
earlier about puberty doing that on a consistent basis with 28 million followers. So here I am with, almost 14, 15 times less the followers, hitting a million likes, 8 million plays on reels, which are
Wow.
another form of posts on Instagram, right? There's normal feed posts, there's Reels posts, there's IGTV posts, there's story posts. So there's various ways to buy ads on Instagram. It's very interesting, and it has to fit your ad, the creative itself. So when it hit that million likes, I was like, you know what? This page is going to be something crazy if I don't monetize it. If I just build it long term. I'm building a brand is what I'm doing. That's why I got to think sometimes. You're building a brand. It's not always about just making money.
hmm I love that, man. I mean, it just shows the potential of the reach. Talking about overall, like, you know, impressions and all that. What
Mhm.
has been your thought process on some of these other platforms that are gaining that reach, right? We hear a lot of people talking about TikTok is just incredible as far as blowing up people's careers,
Yeah.
blowing up just the amount of, impact you can get for one piece of content with virtually zero followers.
I know. It's for someone who's starting out, I would tell them start on TikTok.
Yeah.
And that's someone who has virtually, little expertise in that platform. But I've seen enough. I've seen enough with that algorithm to know it's super friendly and that you have a better probability of getting viral on there. I have a good friend of mine, Martin Jado. He also helped build Bolis Media, by the way. He's awesome. And his little sister, just a few years younger than him, has no experience in digital marketing, but she she touched on her gym, her gym interest, her hobby, and she started posting consistently. That was the key, was posting consistently and not forgetting to do it. Doing it every day, doing it twice a day if you have to. She did that. She has 90,000 followers on TikTok. I know it's not a crazy number, but the point is one of the hardest things to do with marketing is moving followers from one platform to another platform.
Yeah.
So what she's gonna be able to do, and I'm gonna tell her because I just thought about it right now, is she's gonna be able to move them all to Instagram, and she has 12K followers on Instagram. That's how much she's gained off TikTok. And obviously, she's not doing the anonymous route like me with theme pages, but she's gonna go for the lifestyle gym brand, and it makes sense. So I would urge people to have some drive and move to TikTok first. However, there's nothing wrong with Snapchat marketing, the Facebook ads platform, Google ads, SEO. Those are all great things to touch on, especially if you're doing drop shipping or especially when you're doing drop shipping. And the biggest thing is maximizing your reach because every conversion counts, every visit counts, every app you have to increase conversion rate. That's all important. That is very important. And if you do everything, you're going to minimize the chance of failure. Quite simple.
hmm
Yeah.
What has been your biggest downfall in all of this in the last 4 years? Some moment where you can just look back and you were like, man, that was
Yeah.
rough. And this could be
Yeah.
this could be personal or this could be
Yeah.
business related, right? Because I feel
Um,
like personal trickles into your business. Right.
it does, especially when you work with friends.
hmm
That is the hardest thing because I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the same friendship I do with some of the guys I work with. It's actually a very sad thing, but it is what it is. I keep moving forward. I stay true to myself, and I understand people. We're at an age where it's not just me and you, Yogin. It's people in our early 20s. We're at an age where we're just trying to figure things out for ourselves. for those around us, and it's okay. So that's sort of yeah, losing friendship, man. Losing
Mm.
friendships, people that you really cared about. Some people care about money more than friendship, and that hurts to see. That has helped me grow a lot though, because I guess to keep it short, it's helped me with how much I give to people, how much energy I give to people. People like me and you, we get burnt out. We can't give too much energy to people. We can't do that, man. We have the same 24 hours in a day. Again, we have the same 24 hours in a day. You know, I do what I can to keep my routine nice. I hit the gym, I eat good, I go outside to get some sunlight. I have time to read, have time to meditate, like relax. Not everything's about working, but when you got to get to it, you got to get to it. So my biggest downfall was, losing friends that I did not expect to lose, especially when I work with them. Especially when I work with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the hardest thing in the business, right? Is,
It is.
having those fallouts. And I have personally chose not to work with friends, for that core reason of
Yes.
having done that in the past. It has always led to some sort of conflict. I tell my friends right now, a lot of my best friends, they want to work with me on a venture. And I'm like, hey man, I just can't, risk us losing this friendship over
Yeah,
us
it's not
starting
worth
this
it, man.
business, like, and the problem is, right, like at any given point, there is going to be something that pops up, you
Of
know,
course.
um,
Yeah.
and you can't plan for it. It just, something happens and that causes the entire relationship to kind of take a turn for the worse. So how have you navigated that? Because I know, at Bolis Media, a lot of you guys has initially just started as friends, right? Like you brought in people, people brought
Mhm.
in their own people.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's crazy how it trickles down.
yeah. So how is that entire dynamic like? And I mean, even talk about like the workplace culture.
Yeah. So like I said, when I first started with Matthew, it was just us two, and then we brought friends like cousins. I think at one point, right before I took a break, was 13 members, 14 members. So just seeing that transition was, I was in awe. I was like, wow, like I was a part of building this culture. I was a part of contributing. And with work culture, I remember telling Matt like, hey, we need to expand. We need to get some girls on the team so we can create a different culture here, like a welcoming, loving culture. Um, we didn't really see eye to eye on that, and it was okay. It wasn't a big deal. It's like one of our small issues, but that was an important thing for me to know moving forward, because now I know when I create my own company, I need to create that kind of workplace where it's just friendly, it's welcoming, it creates a lot of hospitality. Um, I guess my advice for people is to I hate to say it, but you got to go that lone wolf route, baby. You got to do it. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to do something by your damn self for your damn self.
Yeah.
Excuse me on that, but it's true. I'm preaching from the heart right there. If you're gonna work with friends, here's my advice: create boundaries and you stick to them. And you got to make sure everything's written down in contract, man. I don't care if it's your best friend. I don't care if it's your cousin. I don't care if it's your mama. You gotta get everything down on paper. That way you have some sense of security. That's the biggest thing. You need to secure yourself. And when things turn for the worse, you gotta in the businessman, you gotta be emotionless. I hate to use that word because we're human beings. We're full of emotion. We're loving creatures, right? We're awesome. But when you get hit with some bad news, you got to figure out how to take it, and you got to take it in the chin and keep moving. That's the biggest thing. That was the biggest thing that helped me where I am today, man. If I didn't do that, um, I think I would have destroyed some friendships like fully. At least now they're still intact. They need some reconstruction, you know?
Yeah. Little love.
Yeah, it's true. So that's my advice. You got to go the lone wolf route. People say you need a team. People say you need a team to propel your success. Obviously, it's true. No one's saying you don't need a team, but learn everything yourself first. So when you automate it and outsource it when someone else is doing it, you know exactly how you want them to do it, when you want them to do it, why you want them to do it, and it just helps that flow. It creates that flow. You know, um, that's how it was for Bolis Media. We created like a standard operating procedures for the company. Everyone was on board. Everyone was in sync. we're working together great as a team, and they still work together great as a team today. I'm just not part of it as like I used to be. I'm a part of a different team, but sister company, right? Like it's a little confusing, but that's okay. Like we still work great together. And the biggest thing is with the team, you need to complement each other. And what I mean by that is if I have a strength and a weakness, I don't need the other person to have the same strength and weakness. That doesn't make any sense. I need someone else that can complement my strength. If I'm good at, content creation, I would hope this guy is good at negotiating or, finding ad placements, right?
Okay. What would you say is kind of your 5-year goal?
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Did you want to continue? Sorry.
Yeah. I'll expand on the question. So 5-year
Sure.
goal as in, it can't, maybe not just one thing, but it could be personal, business,
Yeah.
and a multitude of a few things.
Yeah. Sure. So, I didn't bring it up, but one thing I was dealing with is actually happened when I first started making money. Is I moved to Los Angeles just because a lot of influencers were out there. I'm not gonna lie, I needed to make some connections, right? And I was living at UCLA, and like a few weeks in, I get hit by a car, and I ended up having to get metal in my leg, which still, 3 years later, it still sort of bothers me. Like I still have daily aches, and like I'm limited in like how I can play basketball and how I can work out, and even sleeping. It affects my sleep. So, in no way am I complaining, but I'm sharing that, um, like these struggles have helped shape how I want my 5-year plan, if that makes sense. Now it's more about good health and happiness. The wealth comes with that, to be honest. When you're successful, money is just a product of being successful. You're not successful because you make money or because you have money. And I think people need to understand that so they can take it easy on themselves a little bit. Because I know a lot of people who are very hard on themselves. They're in a little hole, right? They owe school debt. School sucked them up $60,000. They have 5K in credit card debt, and they're trying to figure out how to pay for rent, and they bought themselves a new car. They have a $400 car payment, and they can't see the end of the tunnel, right? So my biggest thing is now that I see the end of the tunnel, the light's really big. I like to push that for other people. I like to let them see that too, because a lot of my friends are in tough situations right now, my personal friends. So my 5-year goal is it's not really selfish when I should be, but it's more selfless, and it's that I want to help myself so I can help the people around me. There's no like clear cut, defined 5-year plan of like, oh, I want to have 100 million followers on Instagram. I want to have this much money. And one thing I'll admit is I know it's good to have goals, but I don't have the craziest goals. I just like to push out the most work I can and see where the road takes me because I'm still learning. I still am figuring out where I want to be, to be honest. Obviously, the goal would include acquiring more pages. Now that I told you earlier, hey man, I have all my eggs in one basket. I think it's about time to diversify. I urge people our age to have some urgency and to you get into real estate. Right? God ain't making any more land, so it's let's get some land. Let's get some houses. That and going to the gym every day, taking care of that mental because that's going to affect your work output. Your productivity. That's that, man. The productivity is the most important thing, really. Like that's the day to day, right there.
What is your why right now? What pushes you?
Man, that's a great question. First and foremost, is family. I want them to be successful. So I know if I do a great damn job myself, I'm going to affect how well they do. My little sister, my little brother. I'm Middle Eastern, man. I have 31st cousins on my dad's side and I have 25 on my mom's side. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to take care of all of them. I'm not saying that, but I know if I push myself to great lengths, they don't have a choice but to try to do something similar. At least a few of them, right? To each their own. They can all live their own lives, but they see me and they always talk to me and they say, "Hey, like, what should I do with this? What should I do with that?" And I can't help everyone. It's tough, but just to give good advice, that's everything to me. So my why is I want to make people around me greater. I want to make them better too, because that makes me better. It's a product of that. So that's my why, man.
I love that, man. That really is. I mean, a lot of what we do is for our family, and our legacy. So
the legacy, man. Yeah.
Legacy.
We all die twice, right? So we die when we die, and then we die when second time we die is when the last time your name was said on earth.
That's true.
That's the second time you die. So
That's very true.
I think most of us are also chasing a legacy. Yeah.
Yeah. What is your current day look like? Like, walk me through
Yeah.
morning to and like bedtime.
Sure. So I'm gonna open up with I'm nocturnal. Okay. I don't sleep until 6 a.m. But when everyone else is sleeping, Yogin, I'm working, man. I am working. You're cuddled in bed, you're warm, and you feel good from 12 to 6. I am on my phone. I'm hustling, man, all day. I'll go for a little 15-minute walk if I need it, but I am hustling at night, and I'm up by like 11 a.m. I get like 5, 6 hours of sleep max. And then throughout my day, I just try to get in those meals. Because if you're not getting the fuel, you're not gonna work well. You need the fuel, man. You need to hit the gym. You don't need to hit the gym. You need to find some work balance. You need to keep your body right. Because this body of ours is a temple.
Mhm.
Okay, you got to keep the mind right. You got to keep the body right. You got to keep the heart right. So that's my day. I mean, I'm working out every day. I work hard every day. Um, I'll go to the gym, like I said. I'll go steam room, sauna, jacuzzi, whatever you got to do to feel right, man. That's my thing. I'll go jump in the ice bath at Lifetime Fitness, Yogin. I'll shock my body if I need it. We need to shock ourselves once in a while too, you know? So that's my thing. I like to throw myself off a little bit, create challenges for myself. People don't like that. People like it easy. They all want the easy route, right? Nah, give me the hard way. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. That's my mindset. And I hope that if one person can learn that from us, that's awesome.
I love that. I mean, so maybe go even specific, right? Like
Sure.
you
Yeah.
11 a.m. You wake up, right?
Yeah.
What's
No
your
phone.
no phone?
No phone. Man, we are surrounded by great technology, man. We have computers, laptops, routers, modems, phones, iPads. Jesus, man, they're everywhere. So you need to have that time to be balanced, man, to just take it easy. It's okay to hustle, but you need to have that time. Otherwise, you're gonna get burnt out again. People need to just avoid that route. It sets you back a month or two. It's not worth it. So have that balance so you can build yourself for the long term. So when I wake up at 11 a.m., no phone for an hour. Like I'll drink tea. I'm Middle Eastern, black Earl Grey tea. I go outside for like a little walk, get some sunlight. I like to think about my day. I like to plan my day. I think people should be doing that. Plan their day out. That way, whenever it's 4 o'clock and you're like, man, I've been working for 5 hours or something. You got to get up and figure out the next thing of the day. So 12 p.m. once I'm an hour in my day, I'll actually go back to work, even though I was working all night. I'll go back to work until 4 or 5 p.m. So, 12 to 6 a.m. I'm working. I sleep, wake up, no phone for an hour, but I'm back to work at 12 p.m. And once the day's done at 5 p.m., it's Danny G time. The rest of the night, man, the next 7 hours is me time. I can work on another business if I want. I can read a book if I want. I can go to the gym, go out to eat with some friends, hang out with the family, watch some TV. I'll even waste my time. I don't care. I'll go watch sports. It's a waste of time. I tell people, hey, watching sports is a waste of time. But I watch it myself, man, because we're humans. We have to have some form of entertainment in our lives. So that's my day, man. I really like to have that
So
balance.
12 to 5 is your like required time of work, and
12 p.m. to 5 p.m., brother.
and
5 hours.
and then 5 to basically 6 a.m. Right? Because you
5 p.m. to 12 a.m. would be like Daniel time, like just personal time.
okay.
Yeah, that I think everyone should have that because if you compare people's average day, right? If they work a 9 to 5, when they're home at 5:30, you want to eat and you want to gym, and it's 8 p.m. and your day's done. How are you gonna tell someone to start a side hustle, man? Like you were out all day working for someone else. Do you even have any energy left? But you gotta tap into that and you gotta find a way to get it done. So that's my thing. I'm blessed to have an opportunity to work on my phone. Many people have that right now in 2021. A lot of people are getting to that point, and when you realize that blessing, you got to capitalize. Man, wake up every day, and you got to put yourself in perspective too. You got to be very thankful. Can't take things for granted. So that's why I work from 12 to 6 a.m. Man, like those 6 hours at night, it reminds me like what I have, and like I don't want to lose it. So that's why I'm working. People are sleeping, and that makes me feel good. It's like, you know what? It's not because people are sleeping that I feel good. It's because I'm getting stuff done when no one else is getting stuff done. Like
Mhm.
that's a great feeling in itself. So when I'm working throughout the middle of the day, I'm just touching up everything I did at night, really. So it's like doesn't require much brain power if that makes sense.
Got it. Well, we're gonna go ahead and hop into our rapid fire round, where
Mhm.
basically I'll go ahead and ask you, a few different questions, and you can give me a one-word answer or explain if you want.
Sure.
So, first question: what has been your life motto, or maybe a favorite quote?
Sure. You may abandon your body, but you must always preserve your honor. So one of my favorite quotes. What that means is, quite simply, is just stay true to yourself. That's exactly what it means.
Love that.
Yeah.
Favorite rapper?
Uh, sh- Living or dead or both.
Let's do both.
Sure. Living would be Nas. He's from the '90s. I'm a big fan of '90s hip hop. A lot of grit, a lot of that kind of stuff in it. Tupac's my favorite dead rapper. That guy left a legacy. They still talk about him today. Like he's the best.
100%. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, if you were to get a car, what would be your
Mhm.
dream car?
Good question, man. I'm not gonna lie. I try to avoid material for now in my life. I want to get material wealth later in my life when I'm more humble. But I'm not that guy that would say like Lamborghini or Ferrari, even though those are awesome makes for cars. The new 2021 Cadillac Escalade. That is a G car, man.
Let's
It's a
go.
tank.
Let's go.
Yes, the new Escalades. Those are awesome.
Where is your ideal place to live?
Man, that's awesome. One thing about me is I like to take breaks from Arizona and go check out other states and cities, right? Just take a break. So my thing is, man, I think I want to be like living in multiple cities at once. To be honest, I'm not gonna say like, oh, I want to live in Santorini, Greece, and all that, but I like to visit those countries. But I want to live probably like downtown Chicago, like LA, Phoenix. Yep.
What has been the most, I guess, cool DM you've ever received across your network of meme pages?
Someone messaged me on my Scooby account. Um, they built another Scooby meme account, and it hit like a few, like I don't know, maybe like 100K followers. And they reached out to me thanking me for like simple advice I gave them, man. It was very like rudimentary, like it wasn't anything crazy, and they were like attributing that to their success, and I was just like honored. I was like, man, like that's awesome to see that I had an influence on someone's success, just somewhat.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the last text you received, and what did it say? If you can tell us.
sure. So I do not text a lot, by the way. I'm more of a call guy, but it was my birthday like a few days ago, so I think that was my last few texts with just a bunch of birthday messages full of love, man. It's nice to get that once a year. People like what is happiness? Happiness is knowing that people love you. That's what it is, man. So when you have that, it's a nice feeling, man. It's a real feeling of satisfaction.
I agree. I mean, dude, first of all, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, brother. God
And
bless.
yeah, I think birthdays are just so great where you really feel that love. I mean, first of all, if it wasn't for Facebook and its birthday feature, half of us wouldn't even know when it was anyone's birthday.
Yeah,
But
man, for real.
and shout out to Meta for that. But yeah, man, I think it's one of those days where you just feel the gratitude, and you realize the people that are there for you. So
It is. I'm actually trying to incorporate this next year, or I should say this year, right? I keep forgetting it's a new year. I write down people's birthdays in my notes, like in order, so like I can eventually like memorize them. It's actually sort of cool. It's not that it's that important. It's just nice to send a lovely message to someone, like reminding them how you care for them and how you wish them to have success. Like there's nothing that we need more of that, man.
I agree. I agree. Um, do you listen to any podcasts or look up to any sort of creators in the space? I mean, it could even be entrepreneurs, but and if so, which of them have been the most impactful?
Joe Rogan podcast is probably my favorite. I know it's a lot of people's favorites, just because of the abundance of guests he has. He has probably what 1,300 episodes now. I'm not
Oh,
even
it's
sure.
crazy. Yeah,
So there's a lot to go through, a lot of information to dig out of that. And it sounds funny, but the Impulsive Show with Logan Paul,
I agree.
mostly because Mostly because the guests he has on there, like he's a really good host, in my opinion. You are too, brother. You're great. But
Appreciate
Logan Paul's
it.
yeah. Logan Paul's a great host, and he's able to get people to say things I feel like they would never talk about. Like Mike Tyson, he was talking to Mike Tyson, and he was showing him how apes look without hair. And this guy Mike Tyson was chewing mushrooms, like psychedelic mushrooms, during that episode. You know,
I remember
he's
that.
just he's chewing on it and like sucking on it for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, man, this is the crazy. Like, what am I watching right now? You know, so
Yeah,
that's one of my favorites.
they had the Island Boys too recently. And
The Island Boys, yeah. So those guys were like talking to like George Janko. He's also a fellow Assyrian. Shout out George
oh
Janko.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
from
putting on for
Arizona too, I think.
he is. We actually go to the same church too. So God
Oh
bless.
shoot,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's another great one. They had like being like an entrepreneur and being in the e-com space. They had guests that were on there like Dan Pena and Grant Cardone. I know a lot of people aren't fans of them, but if you're just getting into the space, it's nice to see their fire. That's what people need to see is their fire. It's not necessarily about people's success or it's the fire and drive that people need to absorb into themselves, man.
Mhm.
Seriously. Yeah.
Who's the most famous person you've met, and what was your interaction like?
The most famous person I've met, huh? Um, I was a shorty, man. I was probably like preteens, but my brother's godfather, he's a realtor. He used to be a realtor for like Larry Fitzgerald, Steve Nash,
Wow.
Shaq back in the Phoenix Suns days. I know you love the Phoenix Suns back
Oh
in
yeah.
'06, huh? So I was able to meet Shaq actually.
Wow.
As a shorty, and he's a gentle giant, is what I like to call him, you know.
Mhm.
And what's crazy about Shaq today is he is known for diversifying into so many businesses and running. He's on every brand's ads. I see him on Kia, on Icy Hot, on everything, on State. I mean, I don't even know, man. I seen him on everything. It is insane to see how this guy has went from basketball to building multiple businesses and successful businesses. And he actually talks about it on the Nelk Boys podcast too.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, Shaq is one of those figures that's just he's just a personality, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't get tired of the guy. Like, you know.
Yeah, he's always making fun of like Ernie and Charles Barkley, like back in
Yeah,
the day on Sports Center and stuff. Man, you can't get enough of him. He's a great guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
What has been the book you recommend to anyone starting out in general?
I'm gonna give a few if that's okay, just because of some people take different routes. Um, I don't want to say The Power of Now because that doesn't really correlate to business, but that is a mindset book that you sort of need before you start going ham. If you go ham, I don't know, people, if you're gonna put an hour or two a day on a side hustle and try to push that forward, I would say The Richest Man in Babylon.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, this is a great book. Because I was building a company, it was this book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Mm.
I know they're not really like financial literacy books.
No, those are great.
Yeah.
The Art of War, I've heard great things about.
Yeah, great book. Because I went to ASU, I'm gonna recommend one more author, Dr. Robert Cialdini. He was the head of a psychology department at ASU. I hope I'm not interpreting that incorrectly, but he wrote Influence. He also wrote a book that is supposed to take place before Influence, but he wrote after, called Persuasion.
Yeah, great book. I mean, yeah, he was probably one of the first books I've ever read in the world of business. So, highly
And
recommend.
then, and I hate to be that guy, but just one more. This is a great book that helped me. I had a speech impediment. I was speaking fast. My tonality was bad in my voice and all that kind of stuff. And this helped me out. I don't know why it did, but How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Mm.
Carnegie.
That one's a great one. I probably read that book 3 times, and I still get value from it every time.
I'm on my second time, so that's awesome to hear that. I think I'm gonna have to keep rereading it and digging more information out of it then.
It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, you know, I think you should always kind of go back to that book in certain moments of your life. One personally I recommend is the Tim Ferriss. It's it's the one that he wrote with over 100 mentors. He like collected all the advice.
Oh, that's awesome.
And there's some really famous individuals and successful businessmen. But
sounds like a bunch of gold in there.
Yeah, I think it's called Tribe of Mentors, I believe. So
Tribe of Mentors by Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, yeah.
I'm gonna check that one out. Thank you.
Yeah. If you had to start all over, knowing what you know now, what would you do?
Because I was working with guys who don't like that lone wolf route, I think I would have done that first, and then maybe like joined them up after I had soul success. It sounds selfish, but when you work with a team, I don't want to put them down because a lot of them are great people. And I'm not putting them down, but I'm praising myself. And what I'm trying to say is I put in so much work that whenever I stopped, when I was not able to hustle like I was doing initially the first 2 years, the success of the company sort of like plateaued, and it made me feel a certain way. It made me feel like I was just not like the sole reason why it was successful. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it made me feel like I'm holding a rope and I'm pulling people up behind me. Uh, it was a lot on my shoulders. So I guess what I would change is I would have worked by myself in the beginning, built up my own confidence, and then joined up a company. Whether it's friends or not, I would have had the different mindset to act accordingly. You know.
Well, Daniel, I mean, I appreciate you so much. There's a lot that I've learned just talking to you today, which is amazing because, it's just a friendship that we've had for so many years. And I love that you're in this space. And so every time I talk to you, I feel like there's something new to gain. I'm going to give you the stage right now. Whatever you want to plug, anything you want to talk about, go ahead.
Sure. First, I want to shout out really, really good friends of mine that helped me stay level-headed. Even as a level-headed person, you're gonna have your downtimes, and that's okay. So shout out to my cousins, Isho Daniel, Seguiaro, and Joy Bador. They're all in stages right now where they're trying to figure out something for themselves too. So I wish them Godspeed and many blessings and wealth and health, good health, man. That's the best thing. I wish that for you too, Yogin. I wish you a great year.
Appreciate you,
and I think we need more of that. We need to tell people around us that they need to make it a good year. It's in your hands. The power's in your hands. Like, we need to stop sitting around and waiting for someone to come and save us, because it's not going to happen. That's all I want to say.
Love that, bro. Love that.
Yes.
That was powerful. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yes. From the heart, man.
From the heart.
Thanks for listening to Breaking It Down with Yogin Patel, your one-stop shop for business success and personal growth. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. Share with a friend if you found value in today's episode. And for more information or to connect with Yogin, subscribe to our newsletter and check out Yogin on Instagram and TikTok at YoginPat. We'll see you next time.